In the pursuit of health and wellness, we often begin with the best intentions of seeking balance, healing, and vitality. But somewhere along the way, what started as a journey toward well being can turn into a source of pressure, guilt, and even anxiety. In today's episode, I invite you to reflect with me on a powerful question. Is your wellness lifestyle routines actually making you more anxious? Together, we will explore how rigid routines, food fears, and the obsession with doing everything right can disconnect us from the very peace we are trying to cultivate. Because true wellness isn't just about what you eat or how you move, it's also about how you feel in your body, your mind, and your soul. Hope you enjoy this conversation, and let's go over to the episode. Recently, I had a patient who came with a near burnout and a hormonal change, and she was diagnosed with borderline PCOS condition. So I was just asking her lifestyle, what she was doing, and I was suggesting maybe you could add certain parts of the routine into her lifestyle. And then actually I was quite surprised to say she was doing a lot of healthy things, and on top of that she came with a hormonal issue like a PCOS condition. So she would get up at 5 in the morning because she read that being awake at Brahma Muhurta is very important. And she does yoga, she goes to workout. She, on top of yoga, she also does strength training and HIIT workout like twice or thrice a week. And on top of that, she has a very high intense job that is also quite stressing out. So this was a lifestyle. And on top of that, she's obsessed with eating healthy. Now, this was a condition that came to me. Now, when I go through this whole condition, I asked her, doesn't it stress you out? And she said that sometimes it does stress me out, but I don't know, sometimes I feel if I let go of this, I will lose my health or something. What if I fall sick? So this was one of the feedbacks that I get from her. So this is like, sometimes I love the statement. The surgery was very successful, but the patient died. The purpose of having and incorporating wellness routines in your life is to nourish you and to give you energy and to give you a lot more grounding. But if it is stressing you out, if it is depleting you, and if it is making you tired, then you really need to question what is the purpose of all these wellness routines. Now, how to know if your wellness routine is actually stressing you out or creating more trouble than the nourishment it is supposed to give you? One thing, you're constantly worrying about, will I be able to do it or not? Second, it is actually interfering with your daily important activities that you're supposed to do. Is it isolating you? Are you not able to do your main work that is important for you to do? Or even if you do all your routine work, like there was a patient who came and she claimed that she does 4 hours of kriya or sadhanas every day because she's trying to do some spiritual work for herself. And then I asked her, okay, 4 hours, isn't that too much? And is it like at one time or throughout the day? And she said, yes, it can go on throughout the day. And then this was like, I have to, certain kriyas that I have to do has to be empty stomach. Certain kriyas I have to make sure I do it at specific period of the time, depending on the sunrise, sunset accordingly. So everything is revolving around when she can do the sadhana and when she cannot, and when she is empty stomach and accordingly. So as a result, what has happened, she realized she has isolated herself from the rest of the world because of that. And it has made her a very lonely person. And somewhere she feels nobody is able to understand what she wants to do. And on top of that, there was a lot of spiritual bypassing. The world is obsessed with unhealthy things, and this is one way she starts judging the rest of the world. Because nobody is living the spiritual world that she's living, everybody else is very unhealthy and I do not want to associate with that. So a confirmed bias started coming in. But on top of that, she was saying somewhere there is a loneliness and tiredness because of this. Now, when I asked her, is this really helping you? Don't you think you should cut it down and make it a little less and see what works best for you? So, as long as it is nourishing you, as long as it is giving you the courage and the mental headspace, it is giving you the energy to do the things, and it is giving you clarity of thought to get productive things done, then it is fantastic. But if it is not, if it is making you tired, if it is making you not do the daily routines that are important for your life. Imagine if you are working in a company, there are so many things that you might have to do. And if this is compromising with that work, with your family, if you're not able to spend quality time with your family, if you're not able to perform certain daily chores that are important, then you really need to question, why am I doing all these wellness chores? Or maybe can I cut down certain things so that I'll free up some time for myself. At the same time, I'll free up some time so that I can do the other things, so that I'll have a well balanced life. And life, when we say balance, it's just not about being fit and in your body biomarkers, everything is healthy. It's also that we need to be socially connected. We also need to have the right nutrition. We also need to have a good, fulfilling work career, and also you need to have a good sleep. And all of this put together, that is what makes you healthy. But if your wellness routine, you're so obsessed with it and it is taking time off all the other things, with your relationship, with your work, with your family, with your inner thought, and you're feeling tired, then somewhere we just replaced something unhealthy. When people get into too much of drugs or alcohol, they will revolve their life around that. People who can they drink with, or people, they will revolve their life in such a way that, okay, next day I'm going to be hungover, so I have to make sure that I can start my day only by 12, things like that. They will design the entire life, people, systems, according to the way they can intoxicate with alcohol. Same way they replace with something healthy, but in a way it is not nourishing them still. So it's very important. The wellness routine gives you wellness, not illness. So this patient who came, who said that she does like 4 hours of Kriya a day. Then I just asked her, what happens if you miss it one day? No, that's not good. I have to do it every day. Otherwise, I cannot. Unless I am really, really sick, or there is a fracture or some serious medical condition because of which I cannot do. That must be the only reason why I will not be doing it. Otherwise, I have to do it. Because this is a practice, I know I'm doing it for my own spiritual progress. This is one of the answers a person gave me. And I was quite surprised. Wow, what a commitment that is. But at the same time, what's the price that person is paying? Because on the other hand, you could see the sickness, you could see the tiredness, you could see the neurological impact that person is going through. But this was a person who is also reflecting that this was her past. Now she wants to change. I realized I went too extreme to that side of spiritual practices or wellness routines that she was following. But now I want to change that. I want to cut down. I want to focus on things that are meaningful and relaxed. So the moment you see that you are so obsessed with this and you are not able to forgive yourself, I cannot forgive myself if I cannot do this. It is good to have a commitment to certain disciplinary parts, but not to the extent that it is impacting your mental health. If it's impacting your mental health and stressing you out, if I did not do this, I cannot forgive myself, then there is something seriously wrong with it. It should come effortlessly. At the same time, you should also align with your rest of your life, beautiful life that you can live with. But if you're paying a price of being isolated from the world, and you're being tired, and you're just obsessed with just these routines and forgetting everything else in your life, you're really missing the forest for the trees. When I started this conversation, we started with a patient who came for a PCOS, borderline PCOS condition, polycystic ovarian syndrome, where in a woman the testosterone levels are slightly elevated. There could be insulin resistance, and on top of that, menstrual cycle is very erratic, and too much of body heat, acne, and hair growth in areas including face. These are the problems that she's coming with. And this is the symptoms of PCOS, but this patient was having borderline issues of this. So she came with her mother, and the mother was telling that she's so obsessed with yoga and workout, and she's so obsessed with eating healthy. She doesn't want to eat anything unhealthy. And I was like, isn't that great that she's eating healthy? But what happened is, on top of that, she was so obsessed with waking up early in the morning at before 5 o'clock, because she read that being awake at Brahma Muhurta is very important. But what she missed out was going to sleep on time. So when you don't sleep on time, there are multiple and she works in the airport. So she's in the aviation industry, but not a flight attendant, but works in the aviation industry. Sometimes when you have late nights, even then she will I will never let go. I have to wake up in the morning and I have to do my yoga. So this was a condition that came. And I had to tell her, what's the point if this is giving you this disease? Maybe you need to question, is this really contributing to what I want? The definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So I challenged her to her own belief. So something somewhere needs to be changed. So I asked her, how about instead of being so obsessed with waking up at 5 o'clock, maybe put little more pressure on yourself to make sure that you go to sleep by 10:30. Sometimes she goes to sleep at 12 or even 1, and she has like sleep less than 4 or 5 hours. So what's the point? So I always tell in multiple lectures that I give, and also to my patients, no matter how many good habits you have, but if your sleep is deprived and not good, it can cancel out all the other good habits. That's why you see so many people who have a good sleep, but maybe they don't have so many wellness routines. Just that one sleep will ground them and give them all the support for that healthy living. So some of the things when people come with, I am having, so sometimes I also tell the patients, maybe you need to incorporate few wellness routines. They say, doctor, I am already doing too many and I have children to look after and my family. How can I do so many? So I said, okay, so that's when I realized we need to cut down few things and see what are the unnecessary things that you're focusing, what are the important things that you need to focus on. So I always tell them, start with your sleep. Make sure that you hit your bed. If they're having a late night sleeping tendency, start with 11 and then maybe go down to 10:30 p.m. or by 10 p.m. This itself will, and design your life in such a way that you will get a good night's sleep by 10:30. This will make a biggest impact, and that can save you a lot of time from unwanted too many wellness routines that you are following. This is one thing I told her. And then I told her, let's say that you had sometimes at work you might have deadlines, and that you might have to go to sleep very late at night, or there is an important event that could happen that's a non-negotiable. So in such a situation, in case you're going to sleep, let's say at 12, in spite of doing everything in your capacity, and let's say that you're going to sleep at 12, maybe that day, the next morning, skip your Brahma Muhurta, wake up at 6:30 or even 7. And if at all, like, unless there is a real important work that you need to focus, that's why you are getting up. Sometimes, when you're in the certain sectors like aviation, or certain where you need to travel a lot, you need to catch an early morning flight, then it is understandable. Otherwise, take a little more time to sleep. That sleep will give you, that is the best wellness routine that you can follow, prioritizing that sleep. But make sure your sleep is non-compromised. That is the first. But usually, many times I see people who are so obsessed with their wellness routines, they cancel out the sleep and they think that these wellness routines can give you all the things. That is not the right approach. Unless you focus on your sleep, maybe you can limit your number of wellness routines. So this is one big suggestion that I have people who are asking, I'm having too many things to do for my wellness routine. Just focus on your sleep. That will help you to minimize maybe 50 to 60% less time from your, reduce your time from the wellness routines that you're incorporating. Now, the second thing, there was a patient who actually came with severe bloating problems. And when I asked this patient, okay, why do you think you're having this bloating? And I was, whenever people come with bloating, I ask them for their food history. Like, especially when I do a follow-up, I tell them, you need to log down what all you ate. But the first consultation itself, I was able to diagnose what the actual condition, why this came. So he was obsessed with working out. He wants to go to gym 6 times a week. Sometimes there are times he goes like 7 times a week. And he's worried that if he misses it out, he might lose his muscle mass and things will not work the best. He will not look fit. And when I asked him, how often do you eat, what do you eat? And when he lived in his home, where his support system was there, it was easy for him. But when he went abroad for his higher studies and he was all by himself, he has to cook for himself, he has to prepare things for himself. He started taking 3 glasses of protein shakes, like 3 different times, because he thought that since he is not able to prepare his meal and get his meal, he was taking this whey protein 3 times a day, which is quite high. And somewhere he read that it's okay if you're working out a lot, it's okay to enhance your protein intake. Naturally, when you eat so much of whey protein, bloating is bound to happen, because protein is a building compound of your body. It's very important, But when you overdo it, and especially when your digestion is not so great, and then I asked him, how do you prepare your protein smoothie? And he said he uses cold milk and puts whey protein and then adds some fruits and has it 3 times a day. And I told him, okay, let's start with just limit to once a day. And instead of taking cold milk, just use plain water and add that and just use it once a day. And then let's just see. It's not about doing more and more. It's doing the right optimal number that is going to give you the results. And there are these concepts called minimum effect dose, minimum dosage that will lead to the effect. Like for example, if you are in the sunlight for 15 minutes, that's enough to get you the right suntan. But if you stay more than 15 minutes, it's just a psychological feeling that you are there for more than 15 minutes, but actually it's going to give you burns. So just 15 minutes, anything more than that, it doesn't make sense. Just like the escape velocity. If you can throw something up at a speed of 11.1 kilometer per second, it will escape the velocity. Whether you're sending it at 15 kilometers per second or 11.1 kilometers per second, you will escape the gravity. So if you do more, doesn't mean that you're just spending more time and maybe you're getting more side effects. But knowing that optimal dosages, that is what is important. Many times people are not realizing that just by doing more and more is not going to make you healthy. Doing the right optimal thing is what is going to give you the health. And in most of these conditions, when people come, instead of adding more wellness routine, I actually cut down the number of things that they're incorporating. Sometimes people say, I do yoga in the morning, I do meditation, and then I do workout, I do multiple other things. I tell them just limit to once per day. Maybe do yoga twice a week and maybe do strength training twice or thrice a week. That should be enough. But when you overdo it, you're going to feel tired, you're going to feel very weak. And in this patient, I just have to tell them just whey protein just once is enough for the body weight and for the kind of workout this person is doing. And somewhere what is also happening, this patient was saying, because he was taking whey protein and he was adding a lot of peanut butter and other sweetness into that. And that is not giving him the right results that he is wanting. So when we overdo something, your body can get deprived and it will start compensating on something unhealthy that you are not aware of. So, and people, when they try to do too many wellness routines, one of the reasons why they are doing it is because they want to achieve something very quick. And in a very Himalayan time range, which is very impossible. Like this person, I asked this person, why would you do 4 hours so obsessively with your sadhana? And that person has been doing this, taking pride and doing this for the last 3 years. He said, no, I thought I should get spiritually enlightened. That's why that person was doing it. And a time came when it really hit the health that it reduced to just maybe 1 hour per day. From 4 hours, it reduced to 1 hour, and that just freed up the time. And they have more emotional resilience and things to do. So don't think that you will achieve things. Everything has a time. It will take its time. And to this gentleman who was taking 3 protein shakes a day and trying to achieve, and I asked him, what are you trying to achieve? I want to lose this weight and I want to achieve this muscle mass. Don't try to do it so quickly. Give yourself at least 6 months time. There is a saying, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 10 years. We can actually rephrase that. We overestimate what we can do in 1 month and underestimate what we can do in 6 months when it comes to health. The other one, you can apply this to your business projects or any big project. But when it comes to your health, forget about 6 months, even 90 days. It makes a big difference. We really overestimate what we can do in 1 week or 1 month, and we really underestimate what we can do if we stick to something consistently for 3 to 6 months. So this is what I tell people. Prioritize your sleep. And then I also tell them, avoid, if it is stressing you out, then it's not serving the purpose. Take it step by step. But sometimes what happens is, because it's stressing me out, they just don't try anything at all. It's like two extremes. On one hand, you have people saying, I don't want to try it because it's going to stress me out. And they continue their unhealthy life. And on the other hand, they go all out and doing only those things, and that will stress them out. We want that middle path where, yes, maybe there are times I might skip a yoga workout or a meditation practice, I will come back to it and I will get back to it. Maybe there are times you might indulge in something that is unhealthy, but it's okay. I will get back to it. And you see, a body is it's like you can never step into the same river twice. It's a never ending, the definition of the word sharira, which is the human body, it's like it's a constant dying mechanism because we are being renewed every moment. So if something goes wrong, have the right thing. So that's why I tell patients, if you are focusing on your health and health is becoming your top priority, people, I tell them 80% live healthy, 20% indulge. It's okay. Because your body will also crave for it. Like sometimes you need to have certain sugar. Sugar is the basic energy of your uh, currency for your energy. And there are these people who goes for these extreme fitness competitions and they'll deprive themselves of carbs and sodium, water cut. That is very unhealthy. But unless that is something that you're looking forward, that's okay. But immediately they will come back. But when you go to such extent, oh, I want to lose weight and I'm not eating carbs, that's very dangerous. Those are very extreme. And this happens when people try to do very quick fix. Remember, your body needs time. But if you do the right thing consistently over a certain period, that will give you much better result than once in a while intense protocols which are filled with stressful routines. And you're just going to get tired and give up and blame that my genetics is not right. And this is what happens when people engage in these kind of wellness routines that are very intense, too crammed, and they don't have time to live. This 80-20 rule, on one hand, you have this Pareto's rule, which is about your 20% of activities give you 80% of results, but that's not what we're talking about here. What you're saying is 80% try to live healthy, 20% maybe go offline, maybe indulge. Or some people even take it to 90-10. But don't think 100 and 0. There is a TED talk I would like to suggest people, trying to be too healthy can also be a form of being unhealthy. Because you're so obsessed with it, you miss out on the other things. And the purpose of, like I always say, my definition of health is your body's tolerance level to unhealthy things. So if you are being so healthy, but you don't indulge in certain things once in a while, that can become like the hygiene hypothesis. So you need to have a balance. And that balance right now is 80-20 that I suggest. Don't be so obsessed with, I have to only live healthy. I will not do anything indulgent that is unhealthy. I will not eat sugar. I will not do this. I will not do that. Have a healthy balance. 80% I live healthy, 20%. But sometimes the other people say 80% I live unhealthy, 20% I do healthy. That is not the right approach. 100 and 0 is definitely not the right approach. And 80% unhealthy, 20% healthy, that is also not the right approach. 80% healthy, 20%. The 20% makes a big difference. So where does this 80% come? So what I suggest, it's not in doing too many things. It's actually not doing too many things. For example, instead of staying awake late at night and forcing yourself wake up struggling early in the morning, go to sleep early, and that will help you to wake up effortlessly in the morning, early morning. So effortlessly going to sleep by 10 and waking up before 5 or 6. That's a very easy way to do that. Second thing, make sure instead of indulging and binging, make sure you eat. I tell patients who are coming for weight loss, I tell them, please don't fast. It will make things worse. I tell them, eat 5 times a day, 3 main meals and 2 snacks, but eat the right nutrition, the right portions. That right portion, the right nutrition. So when they starve themselves by skipping one of the meals, what happens is their cravings go over the roof and they're tired and they're hungry. By any chance, if they get access to anything unhealthy, they will binge that unhealthy sweet cookies, which is full of calories and not so healthy stuff. So don't put yourself in a starvation mode where you know that you will not be able to control yourself. So this is another technique. So if you're eating healthy, this will also help. Like this patient who came with the borderline PCOS. And she said that once in a while she does have strong cravings for sugar. And then I asked her, is it because you do a lot of high intensity interval training like cardio or running? Said, yes, sometimes I need to run, and after that I have this strong cravings. And I said, yes, that's because you're depleting. Don't do that too much unless you're planning to run for a marathon or a real competition that is very important for your country or something that you're signing up for. Other than that, try to balance things. Learn to balance it out so that these extreme moods are not coming to your life. So that's why 5 times a meal, if you want to lose weight, have 5 times, but reduce your portions drastically. So that, you see, you cannot overeat for today so that you don't have to eat tomorrow. You will still be hungry tomorrow. So instead, cut down the portions, good nutrients, good fiber, good protein. Put this all together. Like in Ayurveda, we say we need to have all the 6 tastes together. That's the ancient way of saying eat a wholesome food with all the macros, micros, and the nutritions together. So this is the approach that I tell. And that way, maybe you don't have to do everything every day. Maybe there is a day you need to take rest. Recovery is very important. Like there was a patient who is actually a fitness trainer. And he was saying, our muscles are really built when we go to sleep and recover. In the gym, when you go, you're actually tearing apart the muscle. And then when you rest and recover, that is when it is becoming bigger and it's getting stronger. So this patient who came with the bloating issues, he thought that just by going to gym, I will build muscles. No, it's just one aspect of it. It's with your sleep, it's with your emotions, it's with your work, it's also with your ability to have a good night's sleep. Everything has to come together. So this wellness routine, focus on, instead of doing more, try to do certain, undoing is more important than doing more. This is what I tell patients who come with too much anxiety of, I have too many things to do.